Hello everyone. I know this is a little bit short notice, but if you guys wanted a video explanation of the strats we will be doing, here it is. Just in a simple way. Remember, you have the the Google Doc if you want to know all the details on everything, and this sheet shows the most important stuff. But if you want some sort of like voice explanation on the first pulse, there will be this back 3 times in a row with patrols in between, but we'll talk about the patrols later. What we want to do is on pull, we will have Yenven misdirecting onto Chris, the two spore bats here. Chris will be staying back, and it's very important that Chris stays at 30 yards away from healers and tanks the spore bats like even further away because they have a charge that could be lethal onto the range stack. So, and it's 30 yards. So Chris and Jordi will stay in range of heals while everyone else should be out of the charge range. And the spore bats also do a little nature pulse AoE that should be healed. We have suspicions that they charge the second threat, so Jordi always needs to be second threat on the spore bats, or like first and Chris being second. No one can rip threat on those guys. You cannot be second threat, you cannot be first threat if you're a DPS. It's very important. So while we misdirecting those two, then the melee stack is going to be running in onto the 3 Nagas here. They should be stanked where they are. And the range stack should be more than 20 yards away from the Nagas since they do AoE silence. That is very dangerous for healers and everyone. We will be burning Skull and then X as fast as we can. Since they do heavy damage, they cast some spells on random targets that deal heavy damage. We just need to kill them. And the Beast Tamer has a cleave, so melees just never stand in front of him. And the tank, which will be a farm, make sure you are taking him away from the melee stack. There will be misdirects as well on Skull so that we can burn her as fast as we can, and on Triangle. So yeah, A farm makes sure he is facing him away from the melee. We are burning Skull, then X, and then going onto the Spore Bats, and then going back onto the Beast Tamer. Lewin will be marked Diamond, and we will pre-position before pull so that everything happens as is supposed to. Hunters always keep an eye on the Spore Bats and use Strength Shot on Enrage. Yenven, yeah, on Yenven and Johan on Square, Miles and Nandeli on Moon. Okay. Make sure healers pre-hot and pre-shield before the pull, and that would be all. For the Colossi, there's going to be 2 patrols like this. They have a very annoying mechanic, which is that, much like the Ubisoft and AQ40, they have a set of abilities that is randomly selected upon spawning, and we don't know what they are until we pull them. So we have some strategies to make sure we are minimizing the risk, like no matter the set of abilities that they have. If there's a frenzy, okay, so they can have either frenzy and an atrophic blow. This is very easy. We have hunters using strength shot when they need to, and we have a second tank chasing second threat if we have to do a tank swap because of the atrophic blow, but yeah, that's the easy set. The other set of abilities can be the Acid Geyser and Serpent Shrine Parasite. This is where I'm explaining positioning. So melees should be pixel stacking behind the mob and the tank facing it away from us. The ranged should be pixel stacking exactly 30 yards away from the boss himself, the mob. And yeah, really, really precise on the pixel stack. When he uses Geyser, he will turn towards a random selected player or pet, which means no pet on these fights, and deal heavy damage in a cone following where they are and where they move, which means if a ranged is being targeted by the Geyser, they should immediately strafe to the left, and everyone else strafes to the right, the melee as well, so that we make sure only the Geyser ranged target is being damaged. If it's a melee, you just go through the boss and join the tank, and that makes it so only the tank and the melee are getting damaged by the Geyser, and everyone else doesn't have to move. If it's the tank that gets geysered, then no one else has to do anything, just big heals on the tank. It's very important that melees get out at 50% HP and join the ranged pixel stack. And for the last pair of abilities that they can have, it can be an initial infection and Spore Quake. Spore Quake is just an AoE that deals nature damage, and it's 30 yards range, which is why the range should be where they are. And melees should run out when that happens, and then you can go back in. Initial infection is a debuff that is a disease and dispellable on random players. You have exactly 1.5 seconds to go out of your pixel stack in any direction before you infect someone else, and that person then has 1.5 seconds to go out of their own pixel stack before infecting someone else again and again. And this is infinitely, with the damage that they take ramping up infinitely as well, and at some point people will die, which means dispels are prio. If this happens, we will have a dedicated dispeller, but everyone should try to dispel. The dedicated dispeller is the Shadow Priest, since they only have sub 30 yards range anyway. Upon dying, they can drop a toxic pool that deals heavy damage, which is why melees need to run out at 15% HP. They could also spawn 2 big adds that need to be tanked, and they can kill melees, and they threat drop often, so melees just stay out after running out. And they could also spawn 10 little adds that should be AoE down, and melees again, they could kill you, so you stay out at all times. When the mobs die, you should always be on the pixel stack, and you don't participate any longer in the fight. Yeah, that is basically the explanation for this. Now, to go on to Hydros. Hydros is a pretty complex fight to explain, but basically, depending on where we tank him, he will be in either a frost form or a nature form, depending on whether he is like above this line or under this line. So this is showing the frost phase, raid positioning, the transition, the nature phase, and then the other transition. On the engage, Sriracha will be a feral charging to keep him at this point in the room. We will be hiding behind this pillar, and there will be mobs spawning infinitely before we pull and going this way, which means Jordi will most likely have to catch one last mob as we go in. During the frost phase, every 15 seconds, we will all get a debuff that increases the damage we take from frost damage. And it stacks, which means after sometimes we will have to put him over this line so that we get the same mechanic but for nature damage, and that lets the frost stacks fall off. During Frost, the other ability that he has is Water Tomb, which, if you know the KT, Calphazad, encounter, it's basically exactly the same. Someone chosen at random is stunned, and everyone directly standing near them in melee range gets stunned as well. And that's for 4 seconds, and take damage, which scales with the stacks we have, and at some point it becomes lethal. So they need to be healed, and we need to be spreading in the space we have to make sure we don't have everyone get stunned at the same time. So we will have this square stack, this X stack, circle stack, and moon stack. The dispositions are here. The melees should be in a triangle formation behind the boss with those marks. And yep, that's basically all. Even if you are on your stack, make sure you are spreading out to not tomb other people if you're too close to them. Then on transition, this is where everyone should be really careful. The DPS and healers will pre-move with those groups, square and square, circle, and X pre-moving first, and then moon will be moving. It should actually be circle and square pre-moving first, then X and moon. And on transition, when the boss comes here, he will summon 4 adds and will need to be picked up by the second tank. So Chris will be misdirected right here. First MD transition will be Yanven, and then it's going to be in this order, since we will be switching between phases. A farm will be taunting this ad and bringing him to Jordi. Sriracha will be taunting this one, bringing him to Jordi. Jordi will be Avenger shielding this one and putting a Consecrate up under this one. So Jordi should be tanking all 4 ads, and they should be priored focused by the DPS and burned down as fast as we can. We might want to banish one of them and only one of them for 20 seconds. Depending on the damage that Jordi takes, although with the gear we have prepared, it should be good. On pre-transition, when the DPS and healers are moving already, it's extremely important that no dots are running on the boss. Maybe HOTS could be a liability as well, so make sure the HOTS healers are supposed to be on those stacks, so they are pretty far away, but be ready to petri if he looks at you for too long. With the misdirect and the tank trying to catch him, it should be okay. However, for DPS on transition, it's imperative that you stop damage, and I really mean it. You might pull the boss and simply die, and we might need to petri out and cancel. It's very important that you guys have extreme discipline on transition. So stop damage, move, wait for transition, wait for the boss to be locked on the tank, and then you can resume DPSing again. So anyway, you should try to kill the ads first before going on to the boss. And then we will get nature marks every 15 seconds. And the other ability he has is called Vice Sludge. It's just a debuff on random targets that ticks for nature damage. We just heal whoever has that. It lasts for 24 seconds, so just put HOTS on them, and that should be good. And then we will go back to the frost phase. So this is the nature phase positions after the transition. So when everything is stable, you can stack on top of each other here, since there is no water tomb. And then we will transition again, going into frost. So these groups for circle and square will pre-move again and go into this room, not stacked, since you want to avoid water tomb. And then this group will go there, and the boss will be brought. Ads will again be spawning, and A-Farm taunts, brings him, Sriracha gets the boss, Chris taunts and brings him there, and Jordi avenges shields and gets consecrate. And we resume killing the ads again, and we are back into this position with making sure you are not stacking on top of each other to avoid the water tombs. And with this, Hydras should die. So there we go. Now, for these packs, so between Hydros and Lurker, there's going to be 6 of those packs that are identical. We will do the first pull with 4 MDs to really be safe, and we'll see if it's necessary. It's important that it's important that every tank Iron Shields on pull, and I didn't say it, but here everyone should be fapping on spool and wearing heavy stam gear sets because of the charges. So tank Iron Shields on pull, and so we will have MDs, and that will allow the tanks to bring the mobs in certain positions. The honor guard should be tanked here and not DPS by anyone. He is the very last to be DPS down. And he should be more than 30 yards away from the Shatterers and more than 15 yards away from everyone else, and not too close to the edge because he knocks people up and a little bit out, and you could fall into the water. By the way, I didn't say it, but if you fall into the water, it's an instant petri, because otherwise you die. So petri and log out. So Jordi will tank everything else here with the shatters being misdirected on the left. Jordi puts up a consecrate, we kill the priestess 1 and priestess 2 as fast as we can, and then the technicians. Then we will go on the shatterers, and then the honor guard. The honor guard, after under 50% HP, will enrage and might cast an AoE fear. So we need to make sure Sriracha has a fear ward at all times. And the priestesses cast some instant DPS spells. One of them puts a magic dispellable buff that needs to be dispelled, and they also cast greater heals. So this needs to be interrupted, and they need to be Cursed of Tongues. The Honor Guard also has a cleave, so when we are on the Honor Guard, the melees should always be standing behind, and also not too close to the edge. That's all. The Shatras only do a armor reduction debuff. So that's it. Now onto Lurker. So if we send Lurker today, we will be positioning as explained on this this diagram. Everyone should have their own little marks. Okay, so the bus alternates between 2 phases: the emerged phase, which is phase 1 and 3 and 5, etc., and the submerged phase. During the emerge phase, he is just standing here, and he will be using some abilities. The first one being Whirl, which just knocks people out and deals damage. It only hits at like the inner edge of this wooden ring, this central platform. So the melees will be hit, but if you are really standing on the inner edge, then you will not be knocked back far enough away to fall into the water. By the way, the water puts a dot on you when you are swimming in it, and every time you enter the water, you take damage. The dot ticks every 3 seconds, and if you jump, you will constantly re-enter the water at a faster rate than every 3 seconds, which means you will damage yourself much more than just staying in the water. So if you somehow are in the water, because you will need to be at some point, then never jump on repeats, just stay and that's all. And when you need to go back to the wooden platforms, you just jump once when you are near the edge, and that's all. So yeah, the melees standing on the inner edge should just be knocked to the outer edge and just resume going to the inner edge and DPSing the boss. Also, another spell is Geyser. It targets random targets and deals damage and knocks you and everyone else that is next to you at like 10 yards or something in the air. So this is why everyone should be trying to ranging each other. The melee disposition is as shown here. And even on the outer platforms, we should try to have the DPS being not just next to each other. The boss, the tank should be tanking the boss exactly, and almost exactly in the middle, so that when the tank gets whirled or geysered, he doesn't go out of melee range, because as all the rooted mobs do, when the top threat is not in melee range, he will attack the next person on the threat table that is in melee range. So, yep. The last and most dangerous ability he has is called Spout. Basically, he will fire a beam of water in a straight line towards the direction of the tank at first, and then he will do a full circle shooting this beam in either direction. It's random. If you get hit by this, you consider yourself dead. If you get hit, or if you see that you will get hit, you need to petri, because there's literally no, like, do not have hope that you will survive getting hit by the spout. It ticks for multiple thousand damage every 0.1 seconds or something. So even if you think you are fast enough on petri, you might not even be. The way to avoid this is to jump in the water or to turn. Everyone should be jumping in the water. The dot does not do a lot of damage, so the healers can manage. But the melees can actually just follow the spout and like staying behind him at all times, and at some point he will do like the 360 and you will be back on your original position. After the spout has passed over you, you can jump back from the water and onto a platform and resume what you were doing, so DPS or healing or whatever. Just make sure you are in the water, and also you cannot jump. I mean, obviously you never should be jumping in the water, as I said, because it's more damage from the dot. But if the spout is over you and you jump, you will get hit by the spout. So yeah, just wait patiently. The spout passes over you, and then you go back in. Obviously, if he turns this way, the people that are here don't need to jump in the water immediately, but do not greed. Yeah. Then, after some time, which is every 2 minutes, he will submerge and disappear and won't be attackable, and mobs will swim slowly from the water and arrive, onto the platforms. There will be 3 melee adds that hit very, very hard and cleave. Each one will be tanked by a tank, and there will be 2 ranged adds per outer platforms, and they should be CC'd and focused by the DPS. It's very important that the ranged DPS or even healers, actually just ranged DPS, do not rip aggro on the melee mobs, since they will teleport to you and one-shot you if you rip aggro, because they cannot swim, so they do not have a path to you. So they will literally just blink and kill you, and kill everyone on the platform most likely, since they will have proximity aggro. So yeah, just focus on your ads on your own platforms and let the melees handle those guys. Or, I mean, we might maybe CC both, but that's something we will discuss if we even get to Lurker. After all the ads are dead, that's when Lurker will re-emerge and resume phase 1. So yeah, that's it. That's the explanation. Yeah, so thank you. And let's survive.